It's very nice. I like it.
I saw the wedding picture on the beach.
Yeah. ExhibitVic, I'm
So is he coming?
My name is Horst Loewel, and I have a show here in the art gallery of Greater Victoria with other very good artists as well. Show is surrealism and realism a little bit. Something it's absurd paintings, and the other one critical paintings. Some my stuff is a little bit critic for the environment sometimes fantastic realism. Well, all oil paintings in oil on canvas. I use for other paintings gold, real leaf gold, and it's a little bit fantastic realism, of course. My ideas, they are coming from the environment, from nature. I'm a biologist, and I try to get these ideas from the environment and biology in my paintings and make some statements, even political statements. On this painting you'll see the Titanic going down. We have 100 years now when this big ship was sinking. So I make a statement, an idea to show this Titanic once more, to remember on this big, very big and bad accident. Maybe a symbol for mankind not to go too far with nature. If you get too big and to make too much trouble, nature will fight back. So that is a symbol of this Titanic for me. It's often in some paintings. Well, then I paint on stone. There's a stone, pebble stone from the beach. And of course the eagle symbol here in America, a bald eagle comes out of an egg. That means nature is going ahead. Even when mankind ruined nature, the nature will come back and will regenerate. That's my positive idea. So I have all these symbols in my paintings as well. It goes on. It comes never to a stop. So that is what I have to say to my paintings. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a rhetoric. The peaks here are very low.
She was a designer of that.
I'm admiring some of your work on objects.
Yeah.
Very nice. But what I find here...
But I like it here very much.
Well, it's okay.
Difficult.
My name is Steve Chmilar, and this is my first show at the Massey Gallery in the Art Gallery Greater Victoria. And yeah, these are paintings that I had conceived of quite a while ago. Able to show them now only because it takes a really long time for the paint to dry and finally apply the varnish and then finally get the frames on them. So they're paintings that I'm actually quite familiar with already. I've seen them a million times, and you know, they've been around me for a long time. So it's really interesting to finally bring them, you know, to a place where everybody can look at them, you know, in a proper setting with proper light and frames and all that stuff. So it's all new to me, but it's very exciting. And in terms of the work itself, I almost don't want to start because I probably won't stop when it comes to why I paint and what I paint and all that jazz. A lot of my themes actually in the future will be variations and quite a few different things. I'm not always just going to paint pictures of dualism with social stratification. It just happens to be that the first 4 paintings, one of which isn't here, 3 out of 4 are here right now. It just happens to be that these first 4 are paintings that deal with that topic. A lot of my other ideas in the future are different, but they all deal with things that I feel are just as important as that in an issue in terms of the content. In terms of technique, always experimenting with new techniques. So my work will, and already actually a couple of the paintings that I've been working on the last couple months that aren't here, I feel like I've really broken some ground with other techniques. So in a sense, for me, I feel that it is the content and almost the stripping everything down to a cartoon, like a line drawing, is in a sense what my style is. Whether it be painted in a Hieronymus Bosch sort of manner or a Rembrandt style manner with very dramatic lighting, or a lot of wet on wet alla prima techniques, or glazing. They're still going to be, in terms of content, always the same. The cartoon, or the way that I make people, or the way that I draw noses, or things like that, will always be relatively the same. But the way that they're painted will, there'll be a bit of variation, and over time as I expand on my techniques. But that's what keeps it interesting, and I think that, for me, it keeps it exciting, and to this point where I can really create something that I feel is the best thing that I can possibly conceive of, and that's what I've always tried to do so far. So with the new ones, it's kind of determining what is the way to do that. How do I take what I've already learned and expand on that constantly, and get to a point where I'm working to my absolute limit in terms of what I know I can do, but not going crazy. And that's, well, I'm here right now, so I haven't gone crazy yet, so thank you.
ExhibitVic,
It's Haren Vakil, and this show is called Delightfully Absurd, and it's a group show curated by Micah Marsh, and it's mainly deals with surrealist art.
So how does your work fit into that perspective?
Well, and my work is kind of rooted in surrealism because it's so a bit bizarre and things, and in a way, surrealism, is kind of it's a framework, in a kind of rubric within this it fits in. It's a very broad kind of a movement, but it's not. When it started originally in 20s, it had very, very specific things, and perhaps Horst is the closest to the real surrealist work over here. Mine are kind of all mixture of different cultures and things like that.
So can you talk about one of your works? One of your favorites here?
Oh, they're all my.
Oh, your own?
Yeah, I do on canvas and drawings, and I like Magritte very much. René Magritte, he was a great surrealist artist, and so this is a kind of tribute to Magritte, and it had an apple and things, so it's called Waiting for and I kind of like this work because it is a bit humorous at the same time. I can involve kind of Magritte stuff in it a little bit. Yeah, my work is usually pretty graphic-like because I have architectural background. So my paintings are very flat colors, basically, and I do some depth I give by distorted perspective, or so there's some architectural elements in that. But that's the way I do my because sometimes almost I design my paintings, and because my background is in architecture, so this only about last 17 years ago or 18 years ago I really started seriously painting. Before that I was mainly in architecture, urban design. That's right. It is greatly, my work is, so the technique is very architectural, drafting technique, and the way I work and think and compose and everything is very much based on architectural design.
Can you tell us one thing that's brought you to this show in particular? How did you come about being here?
In this show? Oh, it was a kind of I was talking to Micah, and we just said, why don't we have, you do some surrealist art, in Victoria, surrealist artist. And she happens to like surrealism, I think. And so she was very supportive of that, and she said, yeah, let's do it. And she made it and so that's how it started.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks.
Really wonderful.
Oh, I saw the wedding picture on the beach. Yeah. Yes, so I see. You're busy too.
You're probably German.
I don't know, things just start to organically grow and things build up on top of other things. So sometimes what was the initial start of something ends up not even being there.
There's so many layers. And I've seen big changes in your coloration to the monochromes. Can you talk about this?
Yeah, with these are the most recent ones, and I wanted to do some pieces that were more sepia, so it had more of a sense of nostalgia, or like old movies or whatever. And I actually found it interesting working in a restricted palette like that.
There seems to be a little bit more detail in
I don't know, in some of these, and then the other ones I had in the other place, there's a lot of detail too. It's just...
It's a different kind, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, this is more easily readable. It's representational, and a lot of the other ones are more ambiguous.
You've got a lot of doors. Something special about the doors.
Doors, windows, stairways, passageways, labyrinths. Anything liminal. Anything liminal. I love the liminality and going through something that goes from one space, transition to another space. I don't know why, I've just always been obsessed with it.
So can you talk about the hidden figures, those little slide creatures?
I'm not going to say anything about that. That's for people to figure out or to interpret in the way they want, because a lot of it's very ambiguous and multiple readings, or I just wanted to make something that had possibility, potential to be read in different ways.
So you want to talk about red? Because red I find really jarring and the way the color works. It's got something special about the red.
No, because I think it punches holes into the space in interesting ways, rather than often red is supposed to be what comes out in these pieces. Most of it, it's more a sense of pushing into it instead.
So how does this work fit into the concept of this show?
As in surrealism? I don't know. I guess some of it, like this piece up here, you might see my interest in Roberto Matta, the Chilean Surrealists, but no, I guess I don't know how to say. Well, just say, I mean, Surrealism may be an aspect of my work, but it's only a small aspect of it. I don't regard myself as a Surrealist.
Do you have people that are particularly inspiring to you?
Oh, God.
Think about when you're working?
Like the whole of art history, practically.
Yeah.
Essentially. Essentially. Yeah, well, everything from Giovanni Bellini on up to, I don't know, Neil Roche. Like, there you go, from... No, that's probably more than enough.
Did you ever get any inspiration